You've never seen a paper investigation like this. Besides taking the fall for his daughter, he can't think of another explanation. As for whether the father and daughter duo killed Professor Zhu, he has to think a bit more. Meanwhile, Paula returns to the study group and Ajahn turns to, "What did Lyman Hadra say?" Paula's expression turned serious instantly. Last time he visited, he claimed to be seeking his biological son. He said his sister Jiang Dan could help, but she's been missing for 4 years. He can't understand how all this is connected, flipping through his sister's old books as he babbles on. Eventually, he finds a letter in the book and the envelope bears Professor Yang's name. Paula bursts into Professor Yang's office and sees old Yang talking on the phone with some unknown number. "Where's Jiang Dan?" Paula snatches up the phone and asks a question. But the call hangs up. When Yang tries to call back, it shows it's powered off. Paula stands there, flustered. He asks Professor Yang how he knows his sister, and Yang says he took a report from Jiang Dan back when he was a prosecutor. At that time, Liu Yun used political cash as a cover to make money, but before clarification, Jiang Dan vanished mysteriously. He had someone search for her long, to no avail. Early this year, attending a Harvard-hosted international criminal seminar, he happened to spot Jiang Dan there. He was planning to make another trip to Boston, but then the case of Professor Zhu came up, and things on the other side went. Ajahn returns to report when Glasses suddenly mentions Sister Leng's thesis, saying he'd heard from Shen Kai that she may have plagiarized Professor X's work. It seems that Angelati is ordered by the principal to investigate this matter, and Ajahn thinks it's utterly ridiculous. With Sister Leng's talent, she wouldn't need to steal anything at all. Ajahn asks why. Glasses points at an old news article on the computer and says, 5 years ago, a toy factory got checked and it turned out their products contained carcinogens. After the incident's exposure, the owner succumbed to public pressure and died by self-immolation. Professor Zhu was the prosecutor investigating it. And guess what? The owner's son is him. Ajahn is taken aback, and Glasses continues. The paper Sister Leng plagiarized was about how to protect the suspect's privacy. Ironically, the person who leaked and verified facts to the press was, in other words, Professor Zhu might actually be the real culprit in his father's murder, and Ajahn can't shake off this painful thought. After his shower, Ajahn asks Glasses for the case materials. Glasses hands him a USB while saying, "The day Professor Zhu died was actually the anniversary of your dad's death." Meanwhile, on the other side, Yaz opens the door and asks Paula if they can sleep together because she just watched a horror movie. "I'm scared to death," says Yaz. Paula shrugs and says, "Sure, nobody's clicking subscribe anyway." After Yaz lies down, Paula stays awake until 4 a.m. Finally seeing Yaz sprawled across the bed, she takes a pillow and moves over. She finds a spot to sleep, but just as she lays down, the alarm door gets pushed open. In the dark, a man asks why she didn't answer the phone. And with that, he lunges onto the bed. The mysterious man bolts in panic, and Paula chases after him only to see Ajahn blocking the guy. Turns out, he's Yaz's boyfriend, Little Lou. Ajahn reaches for his phone to call the cops, but Paul pulls him aside for a moment. If this gets out, and Yaz gave the access card to her boyfriend, she'll definitely get expelled. Tuition's already pricey enough, and when you add soul rent into the mix, Yaz will be completely crushed. Ajahn hesitates for a moment, but decides to let. Paula turns back and tells Yaz not to let this happen again, to which Yaz nods and grabs her phone. The next day, she sees over 100 missed calls from her boyfriend. Paula rolls out of bed, landing with a thud and looking up at the clock to realize it's already 11 a.m. That sleep was so sound. She missed 2 constitutional law classes. Luckily, Weisstein Zheng, her teacher, wasn't there. He submitted his resignation to the principal, who tried to persuade him otherwise, but old Zhang was resolute, so the principal just tore it up. Congressman Liu is about to give a speech at the school, and old Zhang has to put in extra effort. They can't let seats go empty, or the leadership will look bad. Old Zhang sighs. Students have always been resistant to these events, but under the threat of losing credits, the classroom still managed to fill up. Congressman Liu steps onto the stage and expresses profound sadness over Professor X's murder, especially since Xu was his child. How could such a beautiful life just vanish? He laments. Where's the suspect, Yang Zongsun? Raise your hand if you're here to prove you're a genius with a score of 115. Ignoring Professor Jin's attempts to stop him, Yang Zongsun leaves the conference in a huff, making Congressman Liu look bad. Yaz's boyfriend, not having it, chases him, but it turns out the guy's Congressman Li's son. He applied to law school with Ethan, but Ethan got him while he failed. He vented his rage on Ethan, stepping on his toes while professing his love. Paula freezes for a moment, thinking, how does this punch know my butt hurts? Lost in thought, she heads toward the school gate and nearly bumps into Congressman Liu. Paula hurriedly bows her head to apologize and tries to walk away, but Congressman Lou calls out, "You look just like her." But Paula doesn't have time to chit-chat with Congressman Lou. She has way more important things to do. A few minutes later, she drags eyes into her room, pulls out an infrared testing paper, and turns on her phone camera. She scans the room and, as expected, finds a hidden camera in the clock. Thus been secretly filming Yaz all along. She immediately seeks Professor Jin to discuss countermeasures for reporting Lou, the pervert, but encounters Yan Gelati, who reminds her to testify in court tomorrow. Paula, in a bad mood, ignores him. Heading out, she bumps into Jun, who says, "Remember to testify tomorrow, or pay a fine."